This video is a comprehensive summary of Bluebeam Revu and how using Bluebeam Revu can help project management and project communication.
Shown in the table of contents are several capabilities of Bluebeam.
Now we will cover how to conduct quantity takeoff in Bluebeam Revu, specifically for components, or in this case, windows. First, we must calibrate the page. Locate the scale as listed on the page. Then, go over to the Measurements tab and insert the scale that you found. To double check this, you can use the Measurements tool and locate an already known measurement. Another way to calibrate the page, especially if the scale ratio is not given, is to use the calibration tool. Select the calibration tool and then find another dimension on the page and measure the 2 points. Make sure to double check your calibration by measuring an already existing dimension. For this quantity takeoff, we will be examining the windows on this floor plan. Since there are multiple types of windows, all of which have different sizes, it is helpful to make a new tool set. To create a tool set, open up the Tool tab, click on Manage Tool Sets, and add a new tool set and create a name that pertains to the category you are fulfilling. To map out our window, select Polyline and then select the two edges of the window in order to get the full measurement. Once selecting Enter, you can edit multiple properties of this tab shown. You can remove the captions, you can edit the line thickness, you can edit the color of the line, and even the opacity of the line. Once you have your desired properties, click on the left side, rename the subject, and add it to the tool chest. Select the tool chest that you created earlier in order to duplicate the item quickly and easily. Now, instead of mapping and measuring window A again, you can select the window A tool that you recently created and place it over window A. If the desired replacement is on an angle or not equal to what your original characteristic was, select the item, go to Properties, click Rotate, and rotate to your desired angle. Once you have all your desired elements placed on your project, click on the Markups tab where you can determine multiple estimates. You can customize your markups by selecting any of the given items in the markup list. There are several given items, but you can also create your own. In order to create your own column, click on Manage Columns, then Custom Columns, then click Add Column. Since we are estimating cost, we must have a materials column in order to separate each different window. We can assign each type of window a different numeric value which will correlate to its costs. Now we must make a cost column which calculates the total of each window. To calculate costs, we must utilize the formula type. However, since we established the Materials tab recently, we can just select the expression as the Materials tab. Now, we must assign a material to each window. For window A, we select A. For window B, we select B, until all subjects are given material values. Now, in our cost column, since all of our materials are selected, we can see the total cost of each type of window. This is a helpful tool for budget estimation when doing a project. Next, we can export a formal data sheet of our estimations in the Markups tool, then clicking Summaries, then clicking PDF Summary, and then clicking OK. This normally takes a lot of time to generate, however, it will create a complete and comprehensive list of all your materials and your total costs. Once our PDF is exported, we can see each individual column in a more formal manner in a PDF subject. The markup summary is automatically appended to the end of the floor plan. We can also export all of our categorical data into Excel or another datasheet-based application by using the CSV summary. Now we will cover how to do quantity takeoff in Bluebeam Revu, specifically relating to area. First, as always, we must calibrate our page. On this page, the scale size was actually incorrect. When I went to double check the measurements, the scale seemed to be about 2 times what the original scale had said. For this, I decided to use the calibration technique to get a better idea of the scale. Using calibration, we pick an already known dimension on the floor plan, select both sides of that dimension, and then enter that dimension. Make sure to double check this with another dimension to make sure your calibration is correct. For this specific example, this garage has 4 different rooms. I decided to use the workshop and the generator room as brick flooring, and then the 2 garages as concrete flooring with an epoxy coating. Since we're looking at the flooring, we want to determine the surface area. Now, we select the area tool in order to get the area inside of each garage. This will give us the surface area measurement which we can use and duplicate among each garage. Once we make the area box, we can edit the properties above. For this, I decided to use the area, the width, and the height, since we're only dealing with the surface area. You can also edit the color, the opacity, the thickness of the lines, the hatch, and many more options as shown above. Since all the garage areas are the same size, I decided to create a tool set so I can duplicate each rectangle. To create a tool set, click on Tool Chest, Manage Tool Sets, and Add a Tool Set. For this, I created a flooring tool set. From here, we select the flooring we just made, click on Subject, change the subject name, and then add it to our flooring tool chest. I did the same steps and created another tool for the epoxy coated concrete flooring. Next, in order to get a formal distribution of our estimate, go to the markups list and select the columns needed. There are several columns you could choose from, however for this I only chose the area, the height, and the width. I chose to get rid of the comments because that shows the same thing, but we are unable to use those values as numbers. I also created 2 new columns, a materials column to determine whether the flooring was made out of brick or epoxy, and a cost column to calculate the total cost based on the surface area and the cost of each material. For the brick flooring, I decided to use a cost of $6.65 per square foot according to the average market value. For the epoxy coated flooring, I used a cost of $9.55 per square foot. For my cost column, I decided to use a formula type because I could multiply the square foot times the price that I established in the materials section. From there, I assigned each type of flooring either brick or epoxy in order to get the total cost. Lastly, I click Summary in order to export the data into a more formal data sheet. Also in the Summary section is given the CSV data where I could have exported the costs, the width, the height, and the surface area into a Google Sheet or an already established budget. Once the summary is produced, we can nicely and easily see the height, the area, the material, and the cost, all in a brief sheet.
This video will demonstrate how to post an RFI to Bluebeam, otherwise known as a request for information. The first step is to go to the File tab and open your downloaded plan file onto Bluebeam. From here you will see your plan. You can zoom in and out as you like and view any part of the plan that you wish. For this plan, the RFI that we're going to be submitting is to clarify what type of flush system will be used on the toilet down here in the bottom left corner. In order to add a markup to the plan, we can either go up to the top and click the toolbar on the taskbar, or over to the left and click the tool chest. For now, we're going to click the tools and go to markup. A cloud shape is the markup used for RFIs, but we're going to use the button below it that has a cloud plus a text box so we can put a description of the RFI. So here we've placed the cloud, and now we're going to put some text to describe what we're trying to clarify. Here you can see that when we finish with the text, it's turned, and we can't quite read it. So we're going to go over to the Properties tab, we're going to scroll down, and we're going to rotate by increments of 15 degrees until it's the way we would like it. So now we're going to move our text box down so we can view the words properly. Next, we want to add a stamp so whoever is viewing this plan knows that it's an RFI that they're looking for, and so they can correct it properly. So we're going to go to our toolbox and we're going to place this RFI stamp that was previously made right next to the RFI cloud. Next, we're going to go to File and we're going to open up a PDF template of a sample RIF form. Here you can see that all the information will be able to be entered electronically. We're going to add a blank page below this page so we can insert a screen clipping of our RFI from our plan. Once we have our zoom window where we want it, we're going to go to the Edit tab, click Snapshot, and then outline our RFI. Once we get to the blank page, we're going to right-click and click Paste, and then you can move the picture around and rotate it and rescale it to fill up as much as the page as you would like. Now it's time to save your RFI form. You can save it as whatever you'd like to name it and wherever you choose. After you save your RFI, a neat thing you can do is you can link the hyperlink to your actual plan. So what you do is you go over to the left to File Access, and you go to the PDF form that you want, and there's a green hyperlink button. You click that, and then it works the same way as a snapshot. You outline your RFI, and then whoever goes on there and views and clicks that space, it will take them to the RFI form. Now, when you click on your RFI, it will bring you to your form. And even someone who doesn't have the RFI form previously open, it will bring them to the window and open it up for them just by clicking the RFI. This video will demonstrate how to post an RFI to Bluebeam. First, you want to open your file, and then once your file is open, you can zoom in and zoom out as you'd like. To indicate the RFI, we're going to use the markup tool, and we're going to use the cloud plus a comment so we can give a little information on what it is we're asking for. You can really format this any way you want, but I like it when the words are below the cloud box, so I'm going to rotate it. Once you finish typing your description of your RFI, you can move it and adjust it however you would like, and then we're going to add an RFI symbol to indicate that we are requesting an RFI. Here we're going to download a PDF template of an RFI form. You can see that everything is going to be able to be entered electronically, and we're going to add a second page so we can insert a screen clipping of our RFI so it gives whoever's looking at it reference of where the RFI is. So we take a screenshot and it'll paste it to our clipboard. So when we go back to our RFI document, we can paste it onto the blank document. Next, we're going to save the file to our computer, or really wherever you would like to save it. Now we're going to create a hyperlink so anyone who is viewing this file and sees the RFI can click on the whole box and it will bring them to the RFI form.
Now, we will cover how to conduct a design review session in Bluebeam Revu. Bluebeam's design review feature is helpful because multiple people can access the document at the same time and make comments on the cloud. First, as always, we must calibrate and scale the page. Always make sure to double check your scale by using the measurement tool. Before I started a studio session, I wanted to make sure my markups were correct. For this section, it is okay to use the markups that are automatically generated in columns. For this specifically, we want to make sure we have the author, the comments, the date, and the status. The color is also helpful too. Now, everything is prepared and we can start our studio session. Click on the Studio tab, then click the Add feature, then click New Session, and give your session a name. Once you have your options and preferences set, click the OK button to start your session. If you want to end your session at a certain time, click the Session Expire button and set the end time for your session. Once your session is started, you should be immediately prompted with adding email addresses. This will allow you to send invitations out quickly to everyone you want to invite. You can also copy your session ID and send it that way. Now we must add the document we want to review. Go to the Documents tab and click Upload Document. Then select your updated document, which will be added to the session. Make sure to open this document instead of using the previous document we were on. Bluebeam also saves us the hassle of using a third-party app to communicate because there's a direct chat feature in the Record section on the left side. Since this is only an example, I'm the only one on the file. However, when other people join, I will be notified in the Record section as well. Now, we can make comments, callouts, RFIs, or anything in live time that we want other people to see. Use these tools however you want. However, I decided to do a callout for an example. You can edit the properties of these comments as we did in the prior videos. As you can see in the markup list, it is important that we keep the comments, the author, and the date so that way we can see which comment, who wrote it, and when it was written. Let's say if I were on this document and somebody else were to have clarified one of these comments for me, I can change the status of each comment and that will be reflected in the markups list. For example, you see me here in the chat section answering the size of the door frame. Now that the comment has been resolved, we can change the status of the comment in the Properties section. Click on Status and change it to Completed. This is reflected in the Markups tab as shown below in the Status column. Once we are ready to end the session, we can create a final report out of everything that happened in this section. Click on the Finish Session tab and make sure in your Generate Report section all of your columns are checked. Once we hit OK, the session is manually ended and a comprehensive report is created. This report shows a summary of the session and is a helpful tool to see what you did during each section. We can see who was there, what document was being used, and all of the records of the callouts, the comments, the chats, of everything that happened in that section. Now we will cover how to do a quality assurance and quality control session in Bluebeam Revu. As always, start out by calibrating your page and then use the measurements tool to double check your calibration. Next, we want to go down to our markups list and set up our columns properly. The most important column in QA/QC is your status column. Make sure you have that checked. Next, we want to open up the Status tab by clicking on the button next to Status and then Manage. Now we want to review our models and our states. For QA/QC, we want to make sure we have a reviewer, a designer, and a backcheck model. The reviewer should have a Proceed, Agree, and Disagree state. The designer should have a Completed and Clarification Needed state. And the backcheck should have a Completed and Proceed state. Now, as we did in Design Review, we want to start a new studio session. Give the studio session a name and make sure to upload the documents that you will be editing. You can also set a time for your session to end if need be. Next, we'll send out our email invites. This is automatically prompted when you start your session. Whatever emails you add will send invitations to that person in order to join your session. Once everyone is joined, you can see under this section. Once everyone is joined, you can send chats to each other by using the chat message down under the records section in the bottom left-hand corner, or you can use the tools and use callouts in order to address specific comments on the project. You can right-click on any comment or callout and press the reply feature to directly message one of the people in the session. Now, as we can see below, there are several comments and callouts all relating, however there are no status changes. It is the reviewer's job to let the designer know if a specific comment should be addressed in the upcoming design. Right-click on the comment, click on Set Status, then Reviewer, then Proceed if the comment is ready to be addressed in the upcoming CAD model. Now it is the designer's job to make the suggested changes to the CAD model. Once they are finished making those changes, he uploads the new document where it can be reviewed and back-checked for its accuracy. Once the designer uploads the new document, he can right-click on the comment and set his status to completed. If he has more questions, he can use the clarification needed button in order to get more information on the comment. Once the changes are made by the designer, it is time for the back check. Back check is essentially a check that the comment has been addressed and updated in the new CAD design. You can click back and forth between documents to make sure that this is completed. When it's verified to be completed, the back check sets its status to completed. If the comment has not been addressed or still needs to be changed, you can click Proceed. Once your session is completed, it's time to print your summary report. Click on Report right next to the markups list and then click OK. The summary report will show us all the attendees that were there, all the documents that were uploaded, a record of all the callouts and when people joined the sessions, the chats, and even the timestamp of everything that was done. This is a helpful tool for analyzing what happened in each session. Now we will cover submittal review in Bluebeam Revu. Bluebeam Revu offers a feature to create a submittal from scratch. Click File, New PDF from Template, and then any of the submittal options. If you already imported a submittal, or you want to create more submittal options, go to Tools, click Forms, then click Automatically Create Form Fields. Now Bluebeam creates text boxes, form fields, and check boxes wherever it identifies on the sheet. In order to save this template for future use, click File, New PDF from Template, and Save as Template. Now, as we did in other sections, we want to start a new studio session. Make sure to upload your documents, set an end time if need be, and invite all the attendees. Typically during a submittal review, there will be several different types of people. There will be architects, contractors, engineers. All of these have their own specific tool set to use. As seen on the left side in the tool options, each specific position will have its own set of tools as shown on the left side. These are typically color coordinated, so you can tell which position is addressing which comment. All of the comments, callouts, and highlights are made in the same fashion as shown in previous videos. To give their stamp of approval, they go up and click Tools, then Stamp, and then hit Approval. Any of these stamps can be used, or even a custom stamp can be uploaded. Then, to place their stamp, they can simply draw a box in the needed area. After your approval, you can then alert attendees that you are finished. Right-click, and then right above Set Status, it should say Alert Attendees. It does not show this in mine because there are no other attendees. You can also set your status in the top left-hand corner to Finished when done. As we have shown in previous studio sessions, we can create a markup summary, or in this case a submittal review, in order to document everything that happened during the session. This is a helpful tool for reviewing.
Here is a video demonstration of the punch process on Bluebeam. First step is to select the punch profile so Bluebeam will automatically set you up with all the tools you need to complete the punch process. Next up, open your tool chest and you'll see your punch list items to the left. Open your properties and change from symbol to detail to have a description of each tool. From here, place your punch list items on your document And if you'd like, you could change the symbols to customize it to what you need for your project. Open up Properties and write a description of your punch in the text box. Right-click your punch and save it to your tool chest to be used again. You can add extra clarity to a punch by embedding an image. To do this, right-click and select Capture. Either import the photo from a file or take the picture. Change your summary to a PDF summary, and make sure that your preferences are the way that you want them. Open up Thumbnail, and now your document can be handed off to the field team for completion. Now we will cover project handover on Bluebeam Revu. This means that the project has been finalized and the documents are ready to be handed over to the owner. For some owners, this means receiving binders and paper plans that can clutter up their desk, get lost, and be easily damaged. Having your project plans on Bluebeam makes it easier for everyone. The plans are all stored in one place and are easily accessed from just about anywhere. A great use of Bluebeam is having the plans and manuals digital, so if anything were need to be replaced or fixed, the maintenance team could easily figure out the make and model and exactly where the part goes. The process on Bluebeam is much more time efficient than having to search through stacks of papers. Another helpful method of project handover is exporting the markup summaries as shown in the design review session, QA/QC session, and submittal review session. These are helpful tools of evaluation because they show exactly what happened during each studio session. Once your project is final, you can go to File, Save As, and then you can save it to your computer in many different formats. Here, we'll do a PDF and name it something relevant to the project. Once your project is saved to your computer, you can send it to the owners however you'd like. Or you can utilize Bluebeam's tools and share the file straight from Bluebeam by either emailing it, exporting it in many different formats, or even printing your plan.
Thanks for watching.